It struck. In the high hall of Asgard, beneath banners older than memory, Odin spoke of convergence, of cycles closing, of stories folding back into their source. He called it wisdom. Donnar called it surrender. He had been raised to protect the Nine Realms, trained in warfare, forged in conflict. Every oath carved to him said the same thing. Guard them. Protect them. Do not let them fall. So when his father spoke calmly of Ragnarok as inevitability, Donnar did not hear the prophecy. He heard betrayal. The argument rose like a storm. Words became accusations. Accusations became fury. And in a single terrible moment, the thunder answered. One blow. Not a drawn-out duel. No ritual challenge. No prophecy fulfilled. Odin fell. The hall went silent. Donnar stared at what he had done and named it an accident, a tragic miscalculation, a moment of anger. But he did not step down. He stepped forward. He took the throne. He swore he would do what his father would not. He would not accept collapse. He would not allow the Nine Realms to fold inward. He would make Ragnarok impossible. So he went to war, system by system, world by world. He moved like a storm across stars. Reptilian empires were broken. Ancient territories were seized. Alliances were crushed. Resistance was disciplined. He did not call it conquest. He called it prevention. The stronger he became, the safer the realms would be. That was the logic. That was the wound. Eia was never meant to be strategic. It was small, gentle, civilian. A low-gravity world of aesthetic beauty and quiet skies. Donnar had chosen it as a place of rest during his early campaigns, a world untouched by militarization. He loved it, and the reptilians knew this. Driven from territories on Earth, humiliated by Azir consolidation, waiting in the shadows, did not strike Donnar's fleets, they struck his heart. Their assault on Eia had no military value. They destabilized the core, collapsed the biosphere, fractured the crust, and left it wounded, but not destroyed. A message. When Donnar returned, he did not find annihilation. He found a dying world, still breathing, still molten at its core, and still whispering. He could have let it go, but he did not. Eia was not just stone, it was alive. A molten core pulsed with memory. The souls of its lost population lingered in its strata. Even Odin's consciousness, fragmented and reduced, echoed within its mantle. The world spoke, and Donnar listened, not to the council, but to the grief, and he refused to let it die. He ordered the crust reinforced with God-forged superstructure, the mantle hollowed and stabilized, the core chained, regulated, integrated into engines of gravity and propulsion. Urban ruins were left preserved within the inner strata. The scars were left visible. The fracture remained, but a new citadel was born. It did not gleam like a new creation. It bore scars, an irregular spheroid drifting through space, visibly artificial, visibly broken. Its gravitational fields sheared enemy fleets. Its presence collapsed vectors and disrupted command structures. It enforced compliance with terrifying precision. Yet at its center, beneath its armor and reactors, the original mantle stone remained. Carved into it was the throne of Eia. Where Donnar sat there, he did not bend cosmic law. He did not write reality. He held court. And he listened to the hum. The core whispered. Sometimes it sounded like wind through fractured rock. Sometimes it sounded like mourning. Sometimes it sounded like Odin, not condemning, but advising. Cycles cannot be crushed. Strength cannot erase change. You cannot conquer inevitability. Donnar heard weakness in his words, and so he hardened, he expanded, he enforced. His soldiers began to change. The wars were not like those of old. New weapons tore through divine regeneration. Limbs were lost that never grew back. Eyes shattered and remained dark. Immortals learned what permanence meant. Scars marked the Aesir. Eia marked them too. Yet Donnar refused to mourn. He called it endurance. He labeled it resolve. He said it was protection. The city of Eia drifted as a symbol. Not merely a capital, not just a weapon. It was grief armored. Loss mechanized. Love hollowed and weaponized. A reminder that mercy, once violated, may return as permanence. Donnar does not see himself as a tyrant. He sees himself as a guardian. He does not realize that in trying to prevent Ragnarok, he may be accelerating the very consolidation his father foresaw. The whispers remain, the scars remain, the citadel remains, and somewhere in that molten core, a father waits for a son to understand that protection is not the same as control. But thunder rarely listens.